let's get started. First, we're going to begin with opening statements from the candidates. All other responses, they will have 90 seconds, but for opening statements, they will each get 3 minutes. Our timekeeper, Doug DeMuth, is located right there centrally. For the main questions, when there are 30 seconds left, he will hold up the yellow sign. Doug, if you can hold up that to demonstrate. You have 30 seconds left. When he holds up the red sign, we're at time, and we do got to keep this moving along. My presiding officers are handing out the questions for the debate. We have not shared the questions in advance. This is just so they can reference it as we ask it. We, of course, will allow for responses, but only after all the candidates have answered each round of questions. That'll be 30 seconds if the candidate mentions another candidate. We'll be keeping track of that. And if they do respond, it's 30 seconds. Doug will hold up the sign at 10 seconds, the yellow sign at 10 seconds. But for most of the responses, it's 30 seconds. For the responses to each other, that's at the 10-second mark. Let's get this started, and we will go left to right from the audience's perspective, beginning with Deborah. We will have 3 minutes for every candidate to give opening remarks. Deborah, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thanks to the Taxpayers Association for putting on this great event. Thanks to all of you for being here. Look at this crowd. Excellent. You all look fabulous. And thank you to Lance Lunford for coordinating this event and really doing a great job of communicating with the candidates. Lance and I have something in common. We both have earned Ivy League degrees in economics. Congratulations to you, Lance. Magna cum laude for him, valedictorian for me. Yeah, give it up for Lance. Good job. I have been a civil rights advocate and an advocate for justice, probably all my life, but really very strongly since 2008. And that is really my qualification. I have taken police to court. I've prosecuted police misconduct. And all on a volunteer basis. I don't get paid for this, and I am not a member of the bar. I'm only doing it on my own behalf. But when I get an injunction against all the misconduct that on the part of the sheriff and the police, it's helpful to every citizen, not only in this county, but actually all throughout the world. So I do this on a volunteer basis, and I'm happy to do this work for your benefit and for the benefit of our beautiful community. Look at our community. It's so gorgeous. Let's have a safe community. We don't need the sheriff's deputies dealing drugs. How many people think the sheriff's office should be dealing drugs? Nobody. You all agree with me. I'm the anti-mafia candidate. And I've been working to shut down this drug dealing for a very long time. I'm seeking a federal injunction, and as sheriff, I will shut it right down. You don't think they're dealing drugs? Well, guess what? We have an admission from the state of Florida in a court of law in 2016. Yes, I handled the case. I'm a good attorney. I'm not a member of the bar. We have an admission from the state of Florida that our sheriff is dealing drugs, and that was in 2016 when Darrell Lohr was our sheriff. Of course, the situation hasn't changed at all. Not that it hasn't been shut down at all. All right, how many people think we should all have police protection? Yeah, everybody. That's my position. We should have police protection. How many people think that the police and the sheriff should go around murdering people? You agree with me. My position is they should not do that. Suicide by cop is not a valid policy. All right? Great. So now I've won the election. Thank you very much.
Before we move on, I do want to say a couple of things. We do ask everyone to silence their devices. And I should have announced this to the candidates, but due to microphones, I've been told that we would like you all to stay roughly within where you've been positioned just so that they don't have feedback with each other. I should have mentioned that. That was on me. But you're totally fine. We will now have Eric Flowers deliver his opening statements. 3 minutes.
Does Sheriff Flowers get a 30-second rebuttal on hers? So hey everybody, I'm Eric Flowers, your Indian River County Sheriff, and I am absolutely honored and blessed to be the 11th Sheriff of Indian River County. It has been the honor of my lifetime to serve this community for 21 years now. And I can tell you the team that we have built at the Indian River County Sheriff's Office, when you elected me 4 years ago, we set out on a course to plan for 10 years to say, where is Indian River County going? Post-COVID, we knew that our community was growing. We knew that we were going to a place where we would not be prepared for it. Our roads are not prepared for it. The county is working hard. We've got a lot of county commissioners here. I hope we have all 5 of them here tonight. Our county commissioners are working hard to get our roads ready for the number. We're not ready for the people that are here. We grew so fast post-COVID that we are not ready for the number of people that are here right now. But folks, I'm telling you this, I've been growing our law enforcement, I've been growing our plan, I've been growing our technology to ensure that not only are we prepared to take care of the people that are here today, but we're going to be prepared in 10 years when our community explodes, because we're going to be up over 200,000 people here in Indian River County. We're going to have another exchange down there off of 95. That's more development that's coming in. And if we do not stay on top of this, and if we do not have a plan for 10 years from now, we will not be ready for it. And I can tell you, there has been periods of growth in the Indian River County Sheriff's Office over the years. Sometimes there's been periods of stagnation. Unfortunately, when Sheriff Moore inherited the office, he had a time where there was a stagnation, there was an economic downturn. Since I've been sheriff, we've had this mass inflation that has happened. That's been a good thing for our agency. It has helped us grow. It has helped us get to the point of where we are at today. I'm incredibly proud of our team and what I've done in the last 4 years. When I set out to do things, there were things on my list that I thought would take me 2 or 3 terms to do, and I can tell you, we have accomplished many of those things in the first term. But folks, I've still got a lot more to do, and that's why I'm here today fighting hard to get reelected, because I want to see that vision through. I've got I put a lot of things on the table already, but there are plenty more things to do. I'm running on my record, I'm running on what I've done for this county to keep you safe, and I'm running on all the good things that have happened since I've been elected sheriff. So with that, thank you for being here tonight. I love seeing a packed room. Thank you all.
Before I get started, I always give honor to my Lord and Savior for giving me this opportunity and for His continuous grace and mercy. But thank you to the Taxpayers Association for hosting this event. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, fellow citizens, I stand before you this evening as a candidate for the humble position of sheriff. I solemnly promise to lead this agency with integrity, to ensure that the taxpayers' dollars are being utilized efficiently and effectively. As we will also aggressively address the issues that our community affects, such as our fentanyl opioid crisis, the human trafficking, illegal immigration, and our homeless issues. The men and the women of Indian River County Sheriff's Office deserve a leader who will uphold those high standards and quality of life that each and every one of you expect and deserve. And as your sheriff, I pledge to preserve those standards with unwavering dedication and a relentless pursuit of justice. Tough on crime, tougher on criminals. Together, as we build a safer community where everyone feels, together we will build a safer community where everyone feels protected. Join me in this journey towards building a future for the Indian River County Sheriff's Office where transparency, accountability, service, excellence are not just words, but the pillar on which the Sheriff's Office stands. Thank you. 3 minutes. Touchberry. Can you hear me all? No.
Leadership is How about now? Yeah. You have to put it down here. You're starting to talk now, right?
Yep.
Leadership is compromised, morale is low, and the budget is skyrocketing. My name is Keith Touchberry, and I want to be your sheriff. I am a Christian, a husband of 33 years to my wife Kimberly, a father of 2 children who are both happily married, a police leader with 35 years of experience right here in Indian River County, a veteran of the United States Marine Corps Infantry and Army Reserve, and the only veteran in this race, an educator who has developed people my entire career, and a passionate advocate for the role of the police in our society. The Indian River County Sheriff's Office is not lacking quality people, it's lacking quality leadership, because leadership is compromised. People become compromised when they lack morals, values, and ethics to stay the course. When leadership becomes compromised, decisions about people's livelihood are not fairly, impartially, and consistently applied. This refers to promotions, transfers, school opportunities, discipline, and how internal investigations are handled. Morale goes down, and we develop a recruiting and retention problem. When leadership at a sheriff's office is compromised, and we see a tolerance for the quote, "your city is in my county" mentality, and an air of superiority over municipal officers that is unethical. We have seen high-risk search warrants served in our cities without first de-escalating. This means our police departments are unaware of high-risk police activities in their jurisdiction. Just ask the Sebastian Police Department, who on one occasion dispatched their officers to investigate men with guns running into a house, only to learn that it was our sheriff's office serving a search warrant. Leadership with a steady hand on the helm of their ship prevent compromise and being compromised themselves. Yet that leadership is off course, that ship is off course and taking on water. I get the impression the budget is skyrocketing, thinking that more money will help save that ship. Budget increases over the past 3 years exceeded the previous 12, and now they want an additional $8.2 million this fiscal year. They also want a $3.2 million K-9 training facility in the next 3 years, and after that a $5.8 million auditorium and classroom. My passion about the role of police in society means I understand our primary duty is to maintain the public trust. After hearing all of this then, it should come as no surprise that many municipal officers in Indian River County and their leaders do not trust the leadership culture at the sheriff's office. They haven't maintained it. If voters are okay with that ship being off course and taking on water, or if they just want to rearrange the deck chairs, then vote accordingly. But voters should believe that what I am saying and have their own experiences to back it up, want a new leader at the helm, a leader not part of that culture, and that leader is me. Let's give the community a sheriff they can trust, and the sheriff personnel the leadership they deserve. They are worth it. Vote Keith Touchberry for sheriff.
One thing Brad said at the very beginning of this, we please do not applaud during the debate because it takes time away from the candidates. We want to get through everything. Got a packed house, we want to respect your time, we want to respect the candidates' time. We will now move on to the first question that we presented the candidates with. Hope the microphone is still working by the time this is over. The first question to the candidates. What do you believe is the greatest threat facing the citizens of Indian River County? And in line with that tactical assessment, what will you do to better protect the safety and well-being of all residents? We'll begin with Eric, continuing in the same order, ending with 90 seconds for all candidates.
Last Monday, I flew out to El Paso and I stood on the Texas border. We were at the corner of Texas, El Paso, and New Mexico. And I can tell you at that little 10-mile stretch that I was at, 500 people a day come across the border. 350 of them are caught by our Border Patrol agents, 150 coming to the United States, completely unchecked, completely undocumented. That is 1,000% the greatest threat that's happening to this entire nation. I can tell you this, back in December, the holding facility that I was at that had 1,500 illegal immigrants in it had 7,000 Venezuelans released from their prisons. These folks are flying across the United States, they're coming to our country, they're coming to our cities, and they're here. Every single city, every single county is now a border county, border city. The flight that I took from El Paso, Texas to Atlanta had immigrants on it. Those folks came through the line with me. They were in the facility 72 hours before I flew out. I can tell you right now that we are working hard every single day. We now have Marine deputies, We have 2 Border Patrol agents that are stationed inside of our agency. We work hard with our partners to ensure that these folks are not going to cause problems. Our governor has been good to the state of Florida. He has given us legislation that allows us to do our job in law enforcement. And when these folks come here illegally, we are going to hold them accountable for the crimes that they are committing, and we are going to ensure that they do not wreak havoc on beautiful Indian River County air.
So illegal immigration is not just a distant concern, it's a reality that touches our shores, our borders, our neighborhoods, and causes safety issues for us. On March 1st, 2024, 27 individuals entered our community through the Sebastian Inlet. Over a month later, April 19th of 2024, 6 individuals were taken into custody, leaving that very same inlet. The incidents are not just isolated to our community, or in our neighbor community, which is St. Lucie County. It was not until I formally announced in April of 2023, when I will be pursuing the office of sheriff and publicly spoke about the wasted spending of our Operation Stone Guard funds and the lack of enforcement on our inlet and beaches, that it was decided to deploy our resources in those areas. It has always been my impression that great sheriffs are proactive, not reactive. The Department of Justice revealed a startling stat. 64% of federal arrests are non-citizens. 64%. It is a clear indication that illegal immigration is not just a mere issue, but a significant challenge to the demands, and immediate attention and action needs to happen. As a candidate for sheriff, I'm committed to upholding the laws and enforcing all illegal immigration laws. Our communities, our county's safety and well-being are paramount, and we cannot turn a blind eye to.
Milo, thank you for your time. We're at 90 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, immigration issues certainly are plaguing the United States of America.
And we will restart the clock.
Immigration issues certainly are plaguing our borders, and every state and every city and every county is a border city or county. And so we have to get a hold of that. The problem is local law enforcement is not as empowered as the federal government is to take care of those issues. So until we get a president who issues an executive order that will make all crimes removable to the host country of origin, then we're going to continue to have issues with immigration. But it's not just immigration, it's also drugs. Because across the border, not only are illegals coming, but they're bringing pallets upon pallets of fentanyl. And that fentanyl is being cut and laced in other drugs, and it's killing our people, it's killing our citizens. And finally, we have to be cognizant of artificial intelligence and what that can do to the world that we live in. So to be prepared for this, we have to engage our citizenry. We have to empower them with knowledge so that they understand how to protect themselves from these evils that are plaguing all of us. We have to make sure that our officers are trained so that they have the latest, are equipped with the latest knowledge and technology to combat those issues. And then we have to continue to evolve as a learning organization, because that is the only way that we can professionalize our industry, is to evolve from a learning standpoint. Thank you.
Okay, I will do better this time, and I'll try to reduce the feedback. Thank you so much. Yes, well, illegal immigration is a problem, but it's not our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is corruption. I am the only anti-corruption candidate, and our biggest problem is our law enforcement, our prosecutors, our judges, our public officials, our attorneys. They're running a mafia. They're not working for us, the people. I mean, they are working, they extort money, they deal drugs, they extort money. Let's take a poll, and like I said, the documents proving that the state of Florida admitted that our sheriff is dealing drugs are posted on my LinkedIn page if anyone wants to see them. They're also available from the courts. The original documents are available from the courts. You'll find the case number on my LinkedIn page. Okay? Corruption is our biggest problem. I'm the anti-corruption candidate. I am the only anti-mafia candidate. I don't think our town should be run by the mafia. I don't think our law enforcement officers should be committing crimes against law-abiding people. Who thinks that they should? All right, we have one criminal in the back and the rest of you are law-abiding. Thank you so much. You agree with me on the issues. I've won. Thank you.
It is the opinion of the presiding officers that Eric Flowers will get 30 seconds to respond because Deborah Cooney mentioned Eric Flowers in that statement.
I did not mention Eric Flowers.
Did I mention that mental health is a major problem for
I
us?
did not.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the presidential debates. We're more graceful. The presiding officers have determined that Eric Flowers will get 30 seconds to respond. Thank you.
Mental health.
On to the second question. And this question will begin with Milo Thornton and continue to go into the same order. As sheriff, how will you keep the tax burden that citizens face in administering the sheriff's office as low as possible while ensuring fiscally responsible practices? Milo Thornton.
Okay. It is critical that we not only fulfill the duties effectively, but we also be responsible for managing our resources that our community trusts us with. At the heart of our financial strategy, is a strategic plan that sets the course for the sheriff's office. When drafting our budget, my administration will prioritize meeting the concerns and needs of today by keeping an eye on the future. We will consider factors such as our growth rate, inflation, and unfunded mandates that ultimately fall on the shoulders of our taxpayers. The sheriff's office alone accounts for 54% of general fund, $73 million. $73 million in just this current administration's alone, 33% increase. That's not very conservative if you ask me. My staff and I will continue to seek ways to enhance operations within the River County Sheriff's Office without exposing additional financial burdens. We will not spend funds we will not spend funds without a clear path in place, and dollars will be allocated towards a thoughtful and purposefully to ensure maximum impacts and benefits to our community. I believe in partnerships, public-private partnerships, we call them P3s. I believe in making sure that we alleviate those tax burdens to our community by looking for other ways to provide services, grants, etc. Thank you.
Keith Touchberry.
And compassion for mental health.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the instruction candidates time. Pause time and give
This
it
is
back.
an easy one, Lance. Needs not wants. That's how we curtail budget increases, and that's how we protect our community, by asking for the money that we need to take care of the business at hand. But we don't ask for money for vacant funded positions that never get filled. As a matter of fact, in the end of fiscal year 21, 36 vacancies totaling for sworn salaries only, one over $1 million. And if all that money was budgeted and they only returned just over 300, where'd our money go? Let's look at fiscal year ending 22, where no money was returned, but the amount of money that adds up for salary and benefits just for sworn alone for the 60 vacancies, $2.7 million. If that money was fully budgeted, where did it go? Nothing was returned. 57 vacancies at the end of fiscal year 33, $1.8 million, only $206,000 returned. When I campaigned against the incumbent, he pledged to squeeze every penny. He's spending every penny, ladies and gentlemen, and he's gone on record with the county budget office that what he asked for will get spent despite vacant funded positions at the end of the fiscal year. Where's our money?
Deborah Cooney.
There's a lot of waste in our sheriff's budget. I think we can all agree on that. But there are some easy ways to fix that. One is, let's get the sheriff out of the business of dealing drugs. Let's get the sheriff out of the business of arresting law-abiding people without probable cause. We've done some surveys and we've estimated 40% or so of the people that are arrested in Indian River County have not committed a crime. Not only haven't they committed a crime, but there is no probable cause of a crime. The legal definition of false arrest or wrongful arrest is arrest without probable cause in violation of the Fourth Amendment. We have a constitution, ladies and gentlemen. We just don't follow it. So as sheriff, I would restore our constitutional rights. I would stop all the waste that's happening in the sheriff's budget. We don't need extra money so that the sheriff can send his deputies out to Best Buy, for instance, and use the sheriff's budget to buy a whole bunch of electronics to meet out to their friends. That's an easy one. We don't need that. So as sheriff, I would make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. And false arrest, oh my gosh, that's 40% of our budget. That's 50% of our budget right there. Stop dealing drugs. We don't even need law enforcement anymore. Thank you.
Eric Flowers.
All right, so I've been attacked on my budget. So 3 times I've gone before the county commission to get my budget approved. 3 times I've had a 5-0 vote to support my budget. 3 times my budget has support from the county budget office. I've never once had a single opposing vote on anything that I brought before the county. I have never once had a single person during the budget process come up and say anything negative about my budget, say there's a problem with my budget or the spending. Folks, this is a campaign product that is all of a sudden coming up to rear its ugly head. Everyone in this room is dealing with inflation. Everyone in this room is dealing with your own household budget that is getting out of control. Absolutely, would I love to be able to spend less and do more? Absolutely. But these men and women that put their lives on the line every single day deserve to get paid. And I have fought to make sure that happens. We have put a pay plan in, and every dollar that has been sent to the sheriff's office has gone in the pockets. Look, here's your dollar. This is your tax dollar that you guys sent me, right? 75 cents of it, 3/4, goes right into Tony Lee's pocket. Here you go, Tony. Here's your 75 cents. You know what that leaves me? 1/4 to buy bullets, dog food, cars, gas, everything else, helicopter blades. I got 25 cents. 25 cents left. That's it. We're squeezing every penny. I'm tired of hearing about the budget. Nobody came down and complained. 3 times I got a budget, and nobody once said anything about it.
The presiding officers have determined that Eric Flowers will get a response because he was mentioned by Deborah Cooney and Keith Touchberry. 30 seconds to respond. No other candidates
Was
were
already
mentioned.
all fired up, Lance? Okay, so again, just going back to that, we've done more with less. We've figured out ways to take your tax dollars and do good things with them. What these guys don't understand is that when you have a budget, we buy down for the next year so that we can save in taxpayers' dollars. So when we have capital expenses, if we can go ahead and purchase them in the current year and buy those things, that saves in the following year's budget, and that's where those dollars have gone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes part 1 of our debate. Those were questions submitted by the Taxpayers Association of Indian River County. I had the privilege of presenting them as president. Now we will have a novel part of our forums. We're going to have 2 community stakeholders come up and present a question. The first question will be presented by Phil Doherty of the Law Enforcement Deputies Union. While it comes up here, I'll announce the second individual presenting question will be Mr. Eric Seymour, Assistant Superintendent. On behalf of the School District of Indian River County, both of these organizations are significant stakeholders that the Sheriff's Office must deal with. So first we will have the President of the Law Enforcement Deputies Union present his question.
Thank you, Lance. Good evening. Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening. As Lance said, I'm Phil Doherty. I'm currently the president of our law enforcement deputy union. Sorry, I'm not used to public speaking. I'm going to work on this a little bit. On behalf of the union members, we would like to congratulate all of the candidates for being here and taking their time and efforts to run for sheriff of Indian River County. And also thank you all for your dedication and service to our community. I would also like to thank, again, Lance and the Taxpayers Association for inviting us to this evening's event and allowing us to ask a question. So with that said, our question is, a major issue in law enforcement across the nation right now comes with recruiting and retention. So as our county and our agency grows, aside from salaries, how will you address these issues, and what are your plans to stay competitive with surrounding agencies?
We will begin with Keith Touchberry. Proceed in the same order. Keith?
Thank you. So the key to solving your recruiting problem is to solve your retention problem. And the key to solving your retention problem is through leadership. But we've said that leadership is compromised at the sheriff's office. So until we can fix the compromised leadership, we're going to have a recruiting and retention problem. But we have to approach it from the ground up. If you play football, you just don't walk up on the gridiron. So you started an Explorer program, and we have an excellent opportunity to create Explorer programs in our school districts, independent of what the sheriff's office already has, just like an ROTC program. And if we get our young people inside those programs, we can cultivate them as we can to move them forward to law enforcement. We have to encourage the citizenry in our community to ensure that they promote law enforcement as a viable career for young people, especially people of color, because we are lacking ethnicity in law enforcement. And finally, we have to offer the best pay, salary, incentives, and tangible benefits. But the ultimate thing that retains people is, do they feel valued? Do they feel like a sense of worth, purpose, belonging, and are their competencies being developed? If they don't feel valued, they're not going to value one another. And if they don't value one another, then you're going to have fragmentation in your organization, which is what we have. And nobody wants to work for an organization like that. Organizational reputations precede themselves outside of the area, and down at the police academy, they talk about agencies all the time. And right now, they're not saying very high things about the Indian River County Sheriff's Office from a leadership culture standpoint. Thank you.
Deborah.
First, let me say that I appreciate the service from all of our first responders and all of our veterans too, even though the Veterans Council is not here, unfortunately. We thank the deputies for their service, and we agree that they deserve a very good pay and very good benefits and very good working conditions. In fact, my platform calls for an increase in pay to keep up with inflation, which is running rampant right now. The only thing that I disagree with the union on is the union thinks that the deputies should go around committing crimes, murdering people, dealing drugs, scot-free. And I disagree. I strongly disagree with that. That is not in the public interest. That is not justice. So the dirty deputies that are murdering people, the Pat Whites, the Scott Lozzatos, the Luthers, Jonathan Lozzato, the list goes on. Those deputies are murderers. They need to be held accountable. Okay? The deputies who are doing a good job. Thank you. You like the murderers or you don't like the murderers? Personally, I'm going to put a stop to that. No more murdering in the sheriff's department. We are going to take care of the people and keep them safe, not murder them.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you. That's my position.
Eric Flowers.
All right, so there's some things that have been said here tonight that are just not factual. We have 6 people who are currently processing for corrections deputies. So I have 0 openings in corrections. To the north of us in Brevard County, they have 80 vacancies. We've hired 5 or 6 corrections deputies just in the last couple months. On the law enforcement side, I have 6 openings. Out of our entire agency, 565 positions, I have 6 law enforcement openings. Folks, there are agencies around the country that have hundreds. If you go to Jacksonville, there are hundreds. So for us to have 6 is indicative of the leadership that we have. The idea that our reputation is not good is just false. We are on this TV show, On Patrol Live. I get more feedback on that than anywhere that I go. And I can tell you that people are seeing the professionalism, they're seeing the job that we're doing. One of the hallmarks of my leadership has been I am not a top-down leader. I allow, because I pay my sergeants, lieutenants, captains good money, I expect them to make decisions. And so when the leadership of the Indian River County Sheriff's Office is attacked, you're not just attacking me, you are attacking leaders at every single level inside the agency. And folks, if you want to be the leader of the agency, you can't attack those folks. These are good people that put their lives on the line every single day at every single level. And I'm proud of our entire team. There's no reason for those folks to be attacked. They're doing a fantastic job. The spending that happens around there, those folks are making good decisions for you every single day. And I'll tell you this, because we are keeping you safe and we're showing that.
Can you hear me? Use the mic. So this one is fairly simple, and it's been spoken on a couple of times. It's culture. Culture leads deputies. Culture leads deputies. The last administration, the budget was $55 million, and we had virtually no openings. The numbers that you're hearing tonight are not accurate. 21-20, in the end of the fiscal year 22, there were 65 vacancies, 65. I have those numbers. I have the documents to prove that. 71 employees were hired, 82 separated. Of that, 59, you heard that correct, resigned, two retired, and 3 were terminated. We dropped down to 22. 62 employees were hired, 52 separated, 30 resigned, some early. Culture, morale, leadership. Those are the things that keep deputies. Some deputies will stay and work in this area for the funds that they're receiving if they're treated properly. I have to give some respect to what Keith said earlier, because the reality is this: the culture of the sheriff's office is the problem. The leadership of the sheriff's office from the top is the problem, and we need change. I'm your change. Thank you.
Perfect. We will now have the second question presented from our community stakeholders, namely from the School District of Indian River County, and we are delighted to have Eric Seymour, Assistant Superintendent, here to represent Dr. Moore in the school district.
Okay, for the record, first off, I gotta say, I'm sorry, how's that? That we have 3 representatives that I know. Okay. Thank you. Being 6'7", you know. It works sometimes, but hey, other times I have to struggle. But I gotta say too, we have 3 representatives here, and of course we mentioned Ms. Terry Barenborg, our chair, and also we have Mr. Kevin McDonald and Mrs. Jackie Rosario here, board members. Also, I would like everyone to give all of our teachers a big round of applause for what So what we have accomplished, we want to continue, and without you, it will not happen. And we want to pursue the best that we can for students and every individual to have a fair chance in life, to be here making decisions someday when they get out of high school. Also, I gotta say too, on behalf of Dr. Moore and our cabinet, we also applaud you for your support, and we want to continue working with you. The School District of Indian River County and the Sheriff's Office has established a long-standing relationship to maximize the safety, the security of our students and staff within the district. As the sheriff, what would your #1 priority be to continue strengthening the relationship and providing our community with safe and secure schools?
begin. Usually I like to think I'm tall. We will begin with Deborah Cooney. Ladies and gentlemen, please give candidates.
We can begin with somebody else if you want. All right, I'm a very democratic sort of leader here, so what you all want, you should get, as long as it's in accordance with the law and with justice. I'm an advocate for justice. The schools, I'm a teacher, so I'm all for education. So the schools must be a safe place. I'll tell you what's not safe. Having having a lot of deputy action in the schools, that creates a school to prison pipeline. I'm opposed to the school to prison pipeline. I don't think that our young students should be arrested or even sent to mental health facilities just for having a normal teenage tantrum or a normal tantrum, elementary school tantrum, okay? I don't think we want a school to prison pipeline, so we must not go down that road. If we shut down the mafia and we get them out of our schools, then we won't have a problem with the schools. We'll have safe schools. So get the drugs out of our schools. How about the sheriff's office being a drug-free work environment? That's my policy position. All right, there are ways to keep the students safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Sorry. Our presiding officers want to make sure we keep a proper track of that. Thank you, Doug, for keeping us straight. Also, thank you for Doug and Booth, our vice president, for being our timekeeper this evening. I don't think we mentioned it. Thank you. Eric Flowers.
So since I've been in office, we've grown our school resource team. We now have 33 deputies assigned to school resource. We have 3 therapy dogs. We have a gun dog. We've never had that in the history of the Indian River County Sheriff's Office. The gun dog smells gun oils, gun powders, bullets, all the things associated with guns, and is regularly sweeping our schools. We've added metal detectors. We've added technology that puts our school district at a point that is so much further ahead than any other school district. I'm so proud of the partnership. Mr. Seymour, Dr. Moore have been incredible to us, and I'm very proud of what we've done. Really leveraging technology. At this point, we've really fully staffed the schools to the point where we've got, I believe, the right amount of people that are over the schools. Having additional tech, we've got IA already watching that. Our real-time crime center has full video feeds into there so that during the school day, they can keep an eye on it. As that technology grows and as the school district swipe cards connect with the camera system, our technology is constantly growing to be one step ahead of the bad guys. So as something is happening on schools, we will start to see that immediately in our real-time crime center, and our team will be able to give immediate feedback to the responding deputies. The other side of this is people are starting to use drones as first responders. When that came up as a potential, one of the things that I mentioned was, let's put that in the high school. Let's put a drone on the top of each one of the high schools, because they're open campuses. That drone can be on top of a fight, on top of an incident, on top of an active shooter within seconds. As our deputies are arriving, they'll be able to see that video and use it to their advantage. And so that's my vision, is that over the course of time, we're going to have to include additional tech.
So this one's a layup for me. So to further improve our relationships with the school district, I will leverage my already existing reputation with as a former captain of the school safety division. With overseeing all 27 schools, safety remains our top priority. I will continue to enhance our collaboration. I plan to continue to foster open lines of communication with the school district to ensure that a safe innovation runs smoothly and seamlessly. By enhancing transparency and cooperation, we can collectively address any emerging safety concerns effectively. Furthermore, I am dedicated to driving innovation to the schools by safety measures by providing secure learning environments for our students. In addition, the sheriff spoke about some things that I have to address. One of the things I will never do is speak about the issues that happen on our campuses regarding safety and the danger to the lives of my school resource deputies for television or fame. That is absolutely reckless. We will continue to build this relationship with our grant writers and the grant writers of the school district to improve the schools and make sure that our students and teachers are safe. Thank you.
Keith Touchberry.
This is a great question. Teachers can't teach and students can't learn unless they feel safe and secure. Safety begins with the mindset of everyone who works in the school system, whether they're a teacher, cafeteria worker, maintenance person, or what have you. It is a mindset. It also exists in the minds of the school resource officers who train and understand the rules and procedures. We have to continue to, with technology, we have to continue to train with one another and build partnerships and relationships so we have that trust and we can rely on those situations that unfortunately could happen in our schools. Threats are not just from active shooters. They're also internally domestic violence situations, kids who are acting out, and kids can't learn if they don't feel safe because other children are not obeying and doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we have to ensure a fair and consistent accountability system within the school that ensures voluntary compliance with our students so they don't act out to begin with, because our kids just want to learn, and it's very difficult sometimes in some of our schools. And I'd like to bring up a program that I started at Indian River State College. It's the only one in the nation. We started it in the wake of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting. It's called FERDIS. Please look it up. It's an acronym for Future Educators Response to Emergency Situations. We are preparing future educators now while they're still in college at IRSC. We have been talked about in the halls of Washington, D.C. I have briefed the Commissioner Manny Diaz about this program, and as a result of that briefing, when I was the president of the Florida Police Chiefs Association, he agreed to expand this program to every college in Florida that has an education degree program. That's the kind of vision I bring to the table, and that's the kind of leadership that I will provide you as your next sheriff. Thank you.
Thank the School District of Indian River County and the Law Enforcement Deputies Union for being a part of our sheriff debate. We appreciate them for their time this evening. Thank you. Now on to the final part of our debate. As many of you know, we made our Taxpayers Association email public several weeks back for people to submit questions. We have selected 2 questions from the general public to read this evening. I do want to make something very clear. This is an important disclaimer. The topics and subjects brought up in these questions do not necessarily reflect the opinions, priorities, or projects of the Taxpayers Association of Indian River County. These are our way of letting you, the public, submit a question being read through the chair. So with that, I'm excited to read the first question submitted to the sheriff candidates. And we will begin with Eric Flowers, proceeding in the same order. What qualities and skills, both personal and professional, do you think the members of the Sheriff's Department are seeking in their sheriff leading them? We begin with Eric Flowers.
Without a doubt, the folks at the Indian River County Sheriff's Office are looking for a leader who has their back. Every day when you strap on your gun belt and you put your vest on and you go out there and you think, I might have to take a life today, the most important thing to you is the guy at the top of the chain going to support me if I have to do the thing that I signed up to do that not a single one of us ever want to have to do? That's what it boils down to. And I can tell you right now, for 3.5 years, every single time, if they do what's right, I'm going to have their back. If they don't, we'll hold them accountable. It's happened time and time again. We put in body cams, we've held our deputies accountable, but we've also held the public accountable. There have been times our complaints are significantly down as a result of those body cams. As a matter of fact, our lawsuits down 70% since I've taken office. We are absolutely making a difference in the lives of our employees and in the lives of our community. Our deputies love the body cams. That was one of those items early on that people were very concerned about, but we proved to them that we're not going to use it unless we need to use it. It's not something where we sit around and just watch body cams for no reason. It's something that's there to protect them, and it's there to protect the public. It's an important component of transparency, and these folks knowing that I have their back is absolutely the #1 item. And if you ask any law enforcement around the country, what are they looking for in a leader? They want to know that their leader's got their back.
Thank you.
but leading with transparency, accountability, and integrity is another. Our deputies deserve a sheriff who will model the behavior that he expects of them. And that's not happening right now. One of the things that you guys have to understand about deputies is I've been teaching deputies for 19 years at Indian River State College. I teach ethics. I teach all of the, majority of the advanced courses. Deputies want to be held accountable. But if the leader is out of control and just running amok around the county, they're going to model that. They're going to model that. So I stand here before you saying tonight, we need a new leader. We need a leader with integrity, transparency, and accountability. One who will hold himself accountable. Vote Milo Thornton. Thank you. Keith Touchberry.
I've been waiting for this question for 2 years. We want a sheriff who is honest, who sets the example, who does what they say and says what they do. We need a sheriff who has integrity, ethics, morals. We need a leader who sets high but achievable goals so the men and women not only feel challenged, but they have someone to look up to. Ladies and gentlemen, I've said this before. I went to the greatest school of leadership, and that's the United States Marine Corps. It is based on servant leadership. You take care of your people before you take care of yourself. You're not driven by self-interest, influenced by special interest. You are motivated by community interest. You do what you have to do because that's what you signed on to do, and that's what people expect you to do. And they expect you, when you raise your hand and you take that oath of office, that you meant it. And that's what people want in their sheriff. They want someone who they can trust. And absolutely they want someone who will have their back. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what good leaders do. And that's what Keith Touchberry will do as your next sheriff. Thank you.
Deborah Cooney.
Could we have a moment of silence, please? For Zachary Taylor Anderson. For Susan Teal. For Altiria Woods. For Vincent Savastano. For Byris Green. For Mitchell Martinez. All deceased at the hands of our sheriff and murderous deputies. May they rest in peace. I think they deserve better. I think they deserve a sheriff who is not a murderer, who is not a mafia hitman. And I also want to mention Derek Washington. He's alive, but severely debilitated at the hands of our sheriff and the deputies. This must change. And under me, I will not allow a single deputy to murder a single citizen. You want murder or you don't want murder? I'm sorry, if you want murder, you've got it. You've already got it. I don't want murder. I want a safe community. And anybody who wants a safe community, I'm willing to be their sheriff and make it so. Deborah Cooney for sheriff.
Thank you, Deborah. The presiding officers have determined that Eric Flowers will get 30 seconds to respond to Deborah Cooney mentioned him, Milo Thornton mentioned him, and Keith Touchberry mentioned him. He will get 30 seconds to respond. The presiding officers have unanimously determined. Thank you.
Boy, I've been called a murderer, I've been called untruthful, and all kinds of stuff tonight. So here's the deal. I stood in front of you 4 years ago, and I promised you that we were going to put bad guys in jail, that we were going to make our community safe, that we were going to take care of our employees. I promised the employees that we would put in a step plan. Guess what? We got it the first year I was in office. I told you I was going to keep you safe. Residential burglaries down 34%. Auto burglaries down 32%. Grand theft auto 13% decrease. Our traffic homicides down 44% since 2018. I've come through with my promises,
Thank
folks.
you, Eric. We have one more question, and then we will proceed to closing comments. And I want to just thank everyone for being really on time this evening. This question does contain an issue that is specific to the city of Vero Beach, but I want to be very clear. The question does relate to Indian River County. I want to respect the integrity of our process by asking it, but I want to make that clarification that a part of this question will cover a city of Vero Beach issue. I know the city council and the chief courier are working on that part of this question. But I will read it out of respect to our process and the person who submitted it. This person says, Indian River County has a major homeless problem. Parents cannot take their children to Pocahontas Park because it is overrun by vagrants. The library and many other parks and common areas across our county have the same problem. What will you do as sheriff to clean up the parks and streets to make Indian River County safer for families? I believe we will begin with Milo Thornton.
This is a very good question. Through this journey, I've knocked on about 2,000 doors, door knocking, listening to the concerns of our community. Homelessness is one of those top issues that I keep hearing about. So I've already prepared and drafted a plan. It's called HOT, Homeless Outreach Team. Well, we will collaborate with the city of Vero Beach. Collaboration is one of those things right now that's foreign to the current agency. Collaboration. We will collaborate with the Mental Health Association and our other nonprofit organizations. Our faith-based community, who are so giving to our homeless population, to come together and put a plan in place to deal with our homeless people, to get them off the streets. So many times, these folks just need to be reconnected with their loved ones. This task force that I'm going to put together will handle that. Homeless Outreach Team. Look out for it. Thank you.
This is a tremendous issue. When I left the Vero Beach Police Department as a captain and second in command in 2013, we did have a homeless population or a problem in the city of Vero Beach, but it was nothing like it is now. And I can only say that as more services are provided and people feel comfortable to come here and get those services, then we're going to continue to see an increase in the homeless population. The catch is how do we work together to solve this issue? Just like crime, homelessness is a social problem. And so we have to work with nonprofits, we have to work with the private sector, and we have to work with government to come up with procedures and policies and ordinances that would help us. There's an ordinance about panhandling that I'm looking at that's enjoying great success throughout the state of Florida. But we have to understand that some people, while they are homeless by choice, and we know this for a fact, others are truly downtrodden and destitute and they just need a hand up, and others do suffer from mental illness. So the problem or the challenge for all of us is to triage exactly who those folks are and get them channeled to where they can get those services. But it's not going to be cheap. It's going to cost money, and it's going to cost the community to address that problem. So we can't just make it go away. We can't shoot people out of parks because we don't like looking at them. We have to deal with it. Florida has a climate that promotes homelessness because it's 24/7, the weather's pretty decent. And there are so many kind and caring people here that want to do things for homeless folks. So again, we have to work together. We could also look at creating a registry so that we understand who is having the issues that they're having and how can we channel them to the services that they need. Thank you.
Deborah Cooney.
Homelessness is not a crime, and it should not be criminalized, and therefore it is not a police issue. However, some of the causes of homelessness are a police issue. Those issues, as sheriff, I will certainly address. One is our community is flooded with drugs. And a lot of the folks that are homeless are drug users or alcoholics, okay? That needs to change. So if we stop dealing the drugs and we shut down the mafia, and we shut down their infiltration into our judges, our prosecutors, our attorneys, our law enforcement agencies, then we can solve the drug problem. I'm the anti-mafia candidate. I say no more drugs in Indian River County. Oh, and I should mention, I am the only candidate that has gone on record as to being a teetotaler. I do not use drugs, and I do not drink alcohol. And I have sworn this in court testimony many times. The other candidates haven't. Well, anyway, so that's one problem. The other problem is our sheriff's office, especially under Darrell Lord, but I think it's still going on. They are still, they're stealing people's houses right from under them. And I can say this because I personally witnessed this, and I was a victim. The sheriff
Thank you, Miss.
stole my home for 18 months.
Please ask the audience to temper down. Eric Flowers.
So we actually have one deputy since I've become sheriff. We've never had this before. One deputy assigned to homelessness. He works in our community affairs unit. It is Deputy Scott Burke. That is his full-time assignment. We have quarterly meetings with all the stakeholders about homelessness, including the judges inside the Indian River County Sheriff's Office. We've established these partnerships. Apparently the other guys don't know that. We have a team that is working on this, working with Remy from the Treasure Coast Homeless Council. Our point-in-time count, or PIT count as they call it, is down almost 200 people from the previous count. We have done tremendous things to improve the homeless situation in Indian River County. One of the things I'm most proud of is Operation Frostbite. This year I challenged our leadership team in the jail to say, listen, the judges have recognized that these people are committing crimes to get into the jail, to get out of the cold weather. Let's find a way to be able to house them for free so we're not clogging up the legal system and bring them in. So we established Operation Frostbite, and we have the ability to bring in these homeless folks on cold nights because there is not bed space in Indian River County to house them as a partnership. And so I can tell you right now, the partnerships that we formed at the Indian River County Sheriff's Office with homelessness issues are better than they've ever been, and we are going to continue to grow that unit. If I had more deputies, I'd put another one in there because Scott is busy. And if you're having issues with homeless in your area, please reach out to us. Please call Scott, even if it's in a city, even if it's in a park, wherever it is. We will absolutely do our best to help you out. Thank you.
Now comes the easiest question I have to ask them. Candidates will have 90 seconds to deliver closing statements. Actually, I'm looking at the time, we're ahead of schedule. I'm going to let the candidates have 2 minutes to deliver closing statements. Due to the fact that we do have some time, and I want to respect, we say we're going to go to 7, and all the candidates have been very generous with their time. We're going to begin with Keith Touchberry and proceed in the same order. Thank you. Keith Touchberry.
Well, thank you. I feel like I should have got 30 seconds because we got invoked in that last response, but that's okay. We do know about the programs that our sheriff's office has, without question. I mean, check the facts, right? All the things that have been done in our sheriff's office. But a lot of times it's not what you have done that matters as a leader. It's what you have done. What we haven't done in our sheriff's office is maintained our trust. I go back to what I said in the beginning. Leadership is compromised, morale is low, and the budget is skyrocketing. And they can talk about the budget all they want, but those numbers are real, and all you have to do is go to the budget office at the county to get that information, because they're not returning any money. But that's okay, because 2 years ago the law changed and said once a sheriff's budget is approved, they can spend it on whatever they want. And they don't have to go back to the commission for a budget revision. They certainly have to reconcile at the end of the fiscal year. Like last year, when all 5 constitutionals stood before the cameras and held up a big check and said, we are collectively returning $4.7 million. Sounds good, right? 1.3 was from the sheriff's office. Yet, promptly went up to the dais and said, we need 1.2 of that back. So we didn't return 1.3 million. Yet the media was under the impression that 1.3 million was returned. And so were the citizens. They didn't return 1.3. It just didn't happen. That's not transparent, and as far as I'm concerned, that's not honest. that's smoke and mirrors, that's showboating, that's spiking the ball in the end zone. That's what that is. We have to be transparent in our leadership. We have to be transparent in our budget. We have to be transparent with our people. We also have to be honest. And as far as the On Patrol live show goes, while it's police infotainment at its best, not everybody in Incumbent County is a fan of that show. And not everybody at the sheriff's office is a fan of that show. Thank you.
Deborah Cooney, closing statements.
Okay. My husband was a veteran of the Air Force. May he rest in peace. And his father was the sheriff of Clark County, Georgia. So we have public service in our blood. And I have been a volunteer for civil rights and for justice since 2008. Justice is very important to me. If it's important to you, if you want the drugs out of the community and the mafia out of the community, well, that is my position. And I'm willing to do. It's hard work. Look, it's hard work. But I've been working hard for you folks for a very long time, asking nothing in return. And I will continue to do that as your sheriff. I want to mention that turning our county into a police state, a panopticon, a surveillance state is absolutely not an option, nor is it a solution. First of all, it violates the Fourth Amendment. And I think our Constitution needs to be upheld. Our Constitution is the highest law of the land. If we can't uphold that law, how can we uphold any law? I'm the law and order candidate. I think we need to obey the law. We need to bring the sheriff's department into compliance with the law. We need to bring the entire county and all of our public officials into compliance with the law. As sheriff, I will do that. And what's more, I've actually been doing that for many, many years on your behalf. I haven't been paid for it. I've asked nothing in return. Sir Robert Peel's 9 principles of policing. That is my platform. The police need to start respecting the people. Number 1, obey the law. The sheriff needs to obey the law. Number 2, enforce the law. Number 3, respect the citizens. Deborah Cooney for sheriff.
Eric Flowers, closing statements.
I stand here today on the shoulder of giants. Sheriff Lohr is here. Sheriff Gary Wheeler is here. God bless Sheriff Raymond. And I don't know if Sheriff Dobek made it out tonight, but I stand here on the shoulder of giants. And I can tell you this, each one of those men left a legacy on the sheriff's office. And in my first 4 years of office, I have left a legacy, the legacy that I promised you when you elected me. I put in technology, the license plate reader system, our real-time crime center. We have reduced our recidivism in the jail through partnerships with nonprofits. We have reduced the crime in this county. If my leadership is so bad, folks, if the budget is so out of control, why are these folks doing such a great job putting bad guys in jail every single day? It's because they're happy, because they're healthy. We've got Operation Be More Fit. They're able to work out on duty. They're able to do the things that they need to do to be good deputies. We've got programs like STAR, the Sheriff's Traumatic Advocate Response Team, where we check on each other. Hey, how you doing? You okay? Are you sure you're all right? Do you need help? Because we've seen way too many suicides in law enforcement around this country. All the things that I've enacted in the last 4 years have been part of my promise to you. And I can tell you this, folks, we don't need to change. You need to keep me going because I've got a lot more to do. We've done some incredible things in a short 3.5 years, and I can tell you my plan to continue on is amazing. We have so many more things to do. Technology is growing at a pace. We are very close right now with our real-time crime center. That when we get the next evolution of cameras hooked in, it's going to be almost impossible to commit a crime in New River County. These are lowball numbers here, folks. 32% decrease in auto burglary, 34% in residential burglary. That's what you put me in this job to do. We don't want people breaking into our house. We don't want people coming in and stealing out of our cars. And these men and women have done that. And it's because they're happy. It's because they enjoy coming to work every day. And it's because I have put policies in place to allow them to do their jobs. Folks, there are people here coming in droves to come work for me, and the reason they're doing that is because they say, you're that sheriff that lets us be a real cop. You're the guy that lets us pursue. You're the guy that lets us do the right thing. Vote Eric Flowers August 20th.
Milo, Thornton, closing statements.
Coming in droves, but there's 45 vacancies, 75 when I announced. In closing, I urge each and every one of you to consider the importance of your vote this coming election. I'm committed to restoring integrity to the Indian River County Sheriff's Office. It's so much desperately needed. The trust of our community is paramount, and it is time for a new chapter. Under the current administration, we have had over 786 opioid-related overdoses, resulting in 64 deaths. These numbers come from the Treasure Coast Opioid Task Force. They're real numbers. But would it surprise you, with those 64 vacancies, there are only 4 detectives and 1 supervisor in our Special Investigations Unit trying to deal with this, the equivalent of going to a house fire with a water hose. We cannot afford to settle for the status quo any longer. We need a leader who will prioritize transparency, accountability, and a steadfast commitment to serving the needs of our people and not himself. By voting for me, you're voting for the vision of a sheriff's office that operates with the high standards of professionalism and integrity. You're voting for a sheriff that will lead by example and who will listen to the concerns of you, our citizens. Thank you for your support, and remember, your vote matters. Let's make a difference together. Vote Milo Thornton, August 20th.
Seeing as to how that is closing statements, we are at the conclusion of our sheriff debate. Several important thank yous that we need to get through before this evening is over. We actually missed an official at the beginning. We are joined by somewhat of a foreign dignitary here tonight. We are joined by the St. Lucie County Commission Chair, Kathy Townsend. Grateful to have you here in County. I also want to thank my board once again for the tremendous work and leadership they represent throughout the community. They are the unsung heroes. They are the leaders that are empowering this county as the firmament of our region to do all the great work that this association is intended to do. I want to thank the candidates for their time and dedication this evening. We do ask that they stay once I conclude this for a brief photo op. But there's one group of people that I think we all need to recognize. I'm going to ask that we stand and recognize them. This is a very large event, and it's important to recognize the law enforcement deputies who are here to protect our people. Thank you for your service.